So this is the budget overview. Let me just finalize so that I can go back to your questions. So the total budget estimate is 4.8 trillion. This is the overview of yesterday. The expected total revenue is 3.6 trillion. So this covers KRA and other collection, we call them A and AIDS. So the physical deficit is 1.4 trillion. So here 1.1 trillion, they are going to be doing it domestic borrowing, borrowing here locally. The biggest portion they are going to borrow. They are going to borrow, and they're going to borrow through bonds, treasury bills, hizo zote. And there was a time I listened to the domestic borrowing that will it one day bring a crisis with these borrowings that you are borrowing domestic. Sometimes one time we had a conversation, and the conversation was that we are at the highest ceiling for borrowing, I guess a bit about 13 trillion. And one person asked, what if we default on this interest? Because most of these payments, the biggest portion is on interest payments, the biggest expenditure of this money. And someone asked, can we default? And the answer was, if we default on domestic borrowing. These 13 trillion, sio za outside Kenya, ni za Kenyans. 60% is Kenyan. So it means you're defaulting on Kenyans who have done bills, treasury bills, who receive those interests. So this borrowing that it's done every year, we say some of these things are risk-free. Hapo kwa chat unaweza niambia what you feel. So these are some of the biggest sector allocations. Of course, every sector says we are not receiving enough money because most of this budget is recurrent budget. Actually, here, total expected revenue, here 3.6 yote ni recurrent budget. So, you can share on the chat. So let's talk about the highlights. This is what I wanted to come to. The key highlights of the budget. This is what the highlight I would want you to know. No public procurements outside the EGP system from 1st of July. So if you're supplying to the government, the parastatal, those procurement will be done through the system. So I'm very sure there's most of us who do tender nini. So there's no now you have to use the system. So mpaka payment have to be systemized. I know that some of our customers who do the supply, this is changing a lot of how they operate. Na payment lazima zionekane vile umelipwa. So it's eliminating so many things. Verification of pending bills of 155B to be settled over the 2 years. So there are so many pending bills, and they have to be verified. Bank core capital deadline extension to 31st December 2032. So the bank have to have a core capital. So there's an extension that it has been extended. Agriculture insurance to become a standalone insurance class. So, so they want to enhance the agriculture insurance. Digital e-signature, seals, and timestamps to be supported. So if you use those e-signatures and those digital seals, they have to be supported. Public sector audits to be strengthened. So I guess especially there to strengthen so that the outcry on corruption and everything can be handled. So for taxes, so what did he mention on taxes? Business still file return by 30th of June. So hiyo nadhani kwa Finance Act itakuwa imetolewa. Non-return payers to file within 1 month after year end. So hiyo imemaintainiwa ile a new return to be done within one month. So tukimaliza December by what? By January unakuwa umefanya ni return. And remember January ni ile tunasema January. So I don't know some of us if will be remembering, but they need to be done within that month. Pay only taxpayer to file within 4 months after year end. So pay only. So for all of us who are employed, return yetu ni by 4th by April. If you're in this January, December calendar. So after 4 months, so those are the changes. Remember those pay, zote tunazifanyanga that 30th June right now. And I even know some of us hata hatujafanya nil, wapei bado hatujafanya hiyo return. So those are the changes for the year 2026 return. So the core financial services like M-Pesa, Airtel Money exempted from VAT proposal. So this was a very huge conversation. Vile ilisema pale that financial transaction will be subjected to VAT. So he made a bit of these clarifications. If M-Pesa is charged 16%, oh my goodness, I don't know how much that can cost. So he made a few of that clarification. But he also mentioned that the payment gateway, merchant acquiring, aggregation, and settlement platform may not qualify for the exemption. So they were looking gateways like Visa, all those to be able to charge a bit of this. And he mentioned that some of these companies come to offer these services in Kenya, and they are outside there, so they don't pay correct taxes. So those are the places where they would want to capture. What are the business implications? Government suppliers must prepare for full digital procurement. So if you're doing any business with the government, prepare for full digital procurement. Business should expect stricter tax compliance, especially to be able to handle the revenue, the tax budget that is so high. High domestic borrowing may pressure credit availability. So remember I mentioned that they want to borrow locally more than a trillion. So it is going to give us a bit of pressure for credit. Remember also the banks also invest with the government. So sometimes they weigh their risk. They say if they are giving us money, it is riskier than giving the government. So they end up providing that 1 trillion to the government. Instead of putting it out there to us to be able to run our businesses. So because of that, it affects the credit rating. Clean records and ITIMS compliance become critical. So we are in an era of ITIMS, and ITIMS is being enhanced every single day. So make sure that you keep your records, and also you do the ITIMS registration, you issue ITIMS. Now is a new norm. Contractors should watch for roads, housing, energy, health, education, and county opportunities. We have seen where the opportunities are, so you can be able to go that route. If you want to work with the government, you can be able to look at that route.